All right, it is 10 o'clock on the dot, so let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about rubric alignment with the the brand new Gen Ed rubrics. Now, I've got my trusty rubber band up here, and this is a metaphor. The new Gen Ed rubrics are adaptable and stretchy and flexible. So just remember the rubber band. The other ones were very rigid, and they didn't really meet our needs, as we all know. Today, we're going to be discussing the problems that we had with the previous one, just to remind everybody where we were. And then we're going to show examples of using the new rubrics on assignments from program classes, because that's what we're trying to do, is show that our graduates that have degrees in our different programs have the Gen Ed capabilities. All right, so these are our learning outcomes. So we're going to review the rubrics and just kind of show you how easy they are to adapt to your different assignments and how easy they are to create assignments with them now. So before, some of the ones were hard to use, in practice. We could only use parts of them. We couldn't use all of them. So these should be able to be adapted to each of them. And so that's what this is talking about. And the story with the new rubrics is Casey and a committee of us, including Sarah, Morgan, Zachary, Casey, Donna, and myself. And we represent both Gen Ed and program courses and administration. And we were able to get together and try to go through the fine-tooth comb and rework all these rubrics. So you all did approve them through the faculty council last fall, and we will be using them in the spring assessments. All right, so this one is the written communication. So all of these, we've tied them down to just like 4 or 5 categories. So before, the written communication was like 8. So, and
CDS or
something. Yeah. And we ended up having to give a whole bunch of points that they didn't necessarily deserve because of trying to follow it. But it's got, like composing a clear and reasonable main idea. So you can tie it to whatever you're doing. You don't have to have it for a set thing. So we tried to make it where it's going to be clear to the students and to the professor what they need to do, depending on your assignment. And I like the one about formatting and style, because you don't always write an academic paper with a thesis and with all the different parts that they teach you in the English class. You're doing a presentation with your students, or they're writing a handout or a guide or something that's not academic. And so, but you can tell them what that formatting and style that you expect are, and if they adhere to that, then they will do well on this rubric. I actually used it to make a disease research paper for the students. So I'll show you that here in a little bit, but it makes it clear and a little bit easier to use. And then oral communication is very much like written. It just has that component about delivery. And critical thinking applies to just about everything we do. When the students have to make judgments, they have to do research, they have to make decisions. And this is general enough and flexible enough that it should apply to just about anything. And if you remember the old one, part of doing it, it was hard to use in our assignments. Nothing ever really fit the true rubric, which that's what the trouble was with the old one. So with this one, it makes it a little more streamlined and still took parts of the old one, but made it to where it's applicable to all programs. And then cultural intelligence, we've always struggled with that one. I think it's easier now to apply to something, and it can apply to different age levels or veteran status or cultures, ethnicities, different demographic factors. However, it might apply to an assignment that you can make. And I'll show an example, and I think you will. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for mine, anyone in health sciences or any of the program classes, if you want a copy of it so you can tweak it to yours, I don't care to send it to you. Numerical literacy. This one was a little bit harder to use before because we didn't hit all the parts. Now it's easy to adapt it to graphs, to, dosage assignments, any math. I'm also using it for when my students plot out quality control in one of the classes. So this is able to be used in multiple assignments.
And for kind of an artsy program like mine, I'm building it to match our specifications for the digital parameters that our graphics have to be, including your dots per inch and your formatting and your file types and your color modes and your, just the specifics to do with the graphics that you make. I'm not particular about calculating, a percentage or calculating some algebraic formula or something, which we don't do.
Yeah, you can tie it to what specifically you're going to do. And I like these new rubrics because they're easier to align with my accrediting body's competencies. So it's easier to align. And once we get them in the computer with Blackboard with rubrics, you'll be able, it's really easy to align the one that you're going to use it for. And that way, when you're doing your assessment, you'll have all this information. So.
And then Sarah, if I recall, I guess we need to go forward a little bit. So we will assess 2 gen ed rubrics on a program course in the spring. So we don't have to do all of them, but at least 2.
Yes, at least 2. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to start and just show you some of the ways that I use the numerical literacy. I just used a few of them. So with this one is creating an assignment that aligns. Let's hope it works. Oops. Maybe not. What am I doing? Oh, maybe if I hit control, right? No? It worked upstairs. I could just go and pull it up. Oh,
Can you hold down the thing?
yeah, it worked this time, so.
Okay.
You ever take it off for some?
Oh. Do a new share.
You should be able to hit escape.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
It's not showing on the screen.
Uh-oh. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's still showing the PowerPoint.
Okay, let's see
You
if I
have to
can do
minimize it or something.
here. Let's see. I don't know why it's not showing. Well, I have a dosage assignment. Let's see. I tried doing a new share. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong because my students usually have to walk me through it.
So it's still showing the PowerPoint screen.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you need to go. Get on the PowerPoint and escape out, right?
Yeah. Because since you're still in presenter mode there.
That's pretty not done.
And
I think it was on, like go back under there. There's another screen. That one.
so let's go ahead and just
Escape.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just be able to pull up what I'm looking for.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. So this is just a dosage problem. It's one we've been over it before. This is one that I have to do on their own. So I give them the formula. I added some instructions specific since they have to do more than just solve the problem. I also gave them a checklist of what I'm looking for. And since this is a new way of doing it, I gave them an example. So it's going to fit the different ways. So this is showing Zoloft, 25 milligrams by mouth twice daily, and they're having to figure out how much they're giving. So their formula. So what we're going to do to show that what they're using is tell me the parts of the formula, like the desired or what the doctor ordered, what happened, And the vehicle is a tablet or something else, sailing, whatever, if you're doing that. You have then they put it in the calculation and then they give the final answer, except for this auto-corrected to a half. And those of us that do dosages know that it has to be a decimal, not half like that. I tried to fix it, wouldn't let me. And then the rationale is easy. The ordered dose is half the strength of the available tablet. And I'm sure that this is going to be the thing they give me every time, but that's okay. So that way they know what I'm looking for. And then here's the rest of the assignments. So they're just going to do this with each of them. All right, let me go back to the PowerPoint. That working?
This is showing your screen, but it's not, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, we just got to get to where we
Back to
were.
presentation mode.
Where's slideshow?
You can just go to.
And if you want to get rid of the Zoom bar, just hit more. And then select hide floating media controls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then let me get the slideshow going. So I'm just showing you how I'm going to score this one. So that obviously I got a 4 because I did the assignment, but this is just showing how I scored it. So it's showing that they accurately interpret the data, that it's clearly and accurately presents it, it's performed, completed, and then they tell me why they got it. I think it's slide 17, so whatever page that is. And then any questions? No. And you guys could do any of these like that. Here's a assignment that I have. Oh, Lord. Let's try it this way first. Let me get out of the presentation mode. Uh-oh. Okay, let's just pull it up from the. I don't want it to do it that way. Let me find it on my flash drive.
That's a good idea.
Conversion calculations. So I will share my
screen.
Yeah. Can I see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay. All right, so this is just a standard conversion worksheet. I'm sure the math people know all about this. We have to review it because I do it in the beginning classes and I do it in the second semester classes. So it's just the common. So then I'm going to show you how I aligned it. So let me, whoops. Where do I have that at? True intelligence, critical thinking. No. Maybe I didn't put that one on there. Okay, we'll just go back to the PowerPoint.
The Zoom is sharing, it may have gotten turned off.
Oh, okay. Yes. Good call. They could just see your pretty face.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go. All right, so back in, now that I know how to hide this, Morgan, I'm going to do this in every time I have a meeting. All right. So I kind of took that problem, so I'm just showing you a couple of the problems here. Let's look at the question and the rubric. So I'm just taking the rubric questions and I'm going to do this problem. So we're going to write down the given information, 6 ounces, and then the conversion factor. 1 ounce equals 30 milliliters. Then they're going to set up the equation, and then they're going to perform the calculation, and then give me the final answer, and then a rationale, which is I followed the conversion, and I got this answer. So making them show their work. I know the math people, that's how we know where they mess up. And a lot of times they just want to give us the answer that they Googled. And this way, when we make them do it this way, I actually could see what they're doing wrong. Because again, I can't have my people killing people by giving them stuff. And then-
That's all.
So, yeah. And then this is just showing a line of assignment. There's student instructions again. I find that it helps if I give them something when I'm using it for the first time, I give them a example. So that way they know how to use it. So this is the whole assignment and I'm using it this semester. So I guess I'll have good results for the next semester. But they still give a rationale. If you say 1 to 2 sentences, it's going to be 1 sentence, right? So, but as long as they can clearly state, and for the conversions, it's going to be easier and probably, a sentence worth as opposed to the dosage assignment. Any questions? All right.
Don, I have 2 questions. Did you decide to tweak your rubric to even add any of your keywords, or did you just keep it as is?
I just kept it as is because the way we did it, it could work for any of them.
Yeah, I didn't know if you just I didn't know that you did more work.
So I did the student example, so that way they would see what exactly I was looking for in case they were confused by the wording. And on the numerical literacy, we had like little notes on the bottom to show you how you could plug it in for percentages and different things.
And by default for your rubrics, how did you get the newer ones into Blackboard, or were they already shelved?
I just added them because they're not in there yet. Yeah. Maybe add them.
To add them.
Well, the old ones are on there right now.
Yeah, we'll have to have somebody on Marshall.
Mhm.
But
You can also, plus Blackboard is being controlled by somebody else.
Yeah.
I just didn't know this, the same way you used to go to export like question pools or the whole cartridge. I just thought we'd have the option to do that. Like you all give us a cartridge that we just insert in. So-
Yeah. You can yourself and copy and paste them.
You can.
I've been doing that with some of my other rubrics. So, you could do that, and if you need help, I
It'd be
can.
nice not to have to redo it.
Yeah.
And then
Rubrics and Blackboard, as soon as we can get somebody who has the ability.
Mhm.
And we do have Blackboard people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I guess what we would have to do is have it as a double rubric so that you have your course outcome rubrics. And then you have your gen ed rubrics.
When you grade something in Blackboard, you have the choice to use multiple rubrics. So you could, in theory, grade it however you want and then also assess it using the gen ed. At the same time, but separately. You wouldn't have to count the gen ed rubric as part of your actual assignment grade. But you don't have to do that. You can just use the gen ed rubric as.
Yeah.
rubric.
That's how I do it
Yeah.
a lot.
Mhm.
Too.
Too.
So-
Yeah.
Oh, you use both rubrics, Kelly?
And Patrick, I think, if you don't want to give like an example, if you give that checklist, that way they know, I think that's going to help with any, like if they're not understanding the rubric, but the rubrics wording is easier for the student. Yeah, student friendly.
Patrick, something else you could do, you could take the rubric that you're using, and then as a handout or something, you could put the extra words in there. It wouldn't change the actual rubric, but it would change what they're seeing.
On one of your slides, I thought I saw, maybe as I saw from her assignment, where she basically took the wording but adapted it. I was like, oh, did she change her rubric or did she just help you with that in the assignment? So that was my only clarification.
Yeah, I think I just changed it in the instructions.
I didn't want to.
And the checklist.
No.
Yeah, I think that's, when you add that little checklist, that way they see what I'm looking for. Even if you don't give an example, as long as you have that checklist, you can say, well, this is what I'm telling you to do. So for this first time that I'm using them, I'm going to have to hold their hands a little bit and probably send it back to them a couple times to get it correct. All right, so written communication. So one of my assignments is a disease fact sheet. So I'm going to escape out of this. I use this in the infection control class too, but I'm just going to go here. That way I don't have to fight with it. So this is what it looked like. My students, oops, better share my screen. can they see it if they could see it up there? Okay, all right. So my students didn't like it because it just had questions like this, and it had all these separate directions, and I've used this assignment for a long time, so you could probably tell. But they don't really like it. They always miss something. I'm like, well, it's right there, but they want a rubric, so I figured this would be the one to change. That was one of the complaints I got about this assignment last semester. So let me pull up the aligned one. So for the aligned one, I'm telling them why I'm going to do it. And this goes along with my accreditation. So I don't know. Do you want to make it bigger? Let's see.
Your screen sharing pause.
Oh,
I guess just hit the share button and then the top left screen.
Yeah.
Share and then should be good.
okay.
There you go.
All right.
Yep.
It's going to happen to me if it happens. So I'm telling them in steps, choose your topic, research it. And I'm telling them like this, required content, a little bit easier to explain what their audience, appropriate communication. So this is for, making a disease fact sheet for like people that are coming into the office. So then we're going to talk about chain of infection, but I'm telling them I'm looking for grammar, mechanics, style. They have to give me references. I'm telling them how to grade it, and then I will also give them a copy of the rubric. So it just made it a little more user-friendly than the other one. I think this will make them happy. I sent it to 2 of my students, and they approved it, so I was like, would this have been better? And they were like, yes, that would have made it a lot easier. So let me go back to the PowerPoint. And hopefully Julie doesn't have as many problems as I've had.
Yeah, do you have any special links or anything?
Forgot. This, again, rubrics make it easier. Critical thinking, I forgot about critical thinking. But this is an assignment I created for critical thinking. I'm sorry, guys. I thought all these links would be nice and fun, but no.
Right.
Yeah. I don't see it on here. I might not have copied that one. Why is it not letting me do it? I know.
A different machine.
Yeah.
Different.
Conversion. I don't know. It's not going to let me open it. Okay.
Is it the one that says NA201 infection control critical thinking plan?
Yes. Thank you. Is my face getting red? So this is just showing how we use the rubric for infection control and chain of infection. They always struggle with this. So they're going to get identify the problem. So they're going to have a scenario. They're going to have to figure it out. But they always mess up on chain of infection. So I'm hoping this will help. It's got clear language, and also I added this down here with the assignment expectations, and the ones that I've got in bold print, those follow along with a competency for my crediting body.
And how does it fit in with cultural intelligence?
I have another one for that. I'm going to pull that one up. Well, right here. And then we have a cultural intelligence assignment, where we're going to students in their first semester, we learn how to talk to patients with disabilities from another language. So they have a written part where they're going to write it out, which helps for my accrediting body, and then they have a role play or a lab. So it's showing the cultural roots, and this could be adapted for anybody's assignment. A nonverbal communication. So I always tell them, I've had patients come in whenever I worked that they would be limping, and I would ask them if there's anything wrong, and they would say no. And so I would always note it, so that way the doctor didn't say, well, you told me their leg was hurting. So, that way you can recognize the nonverbal communication. And we do go over nonverbal communication before this assignment. Part 2 is the lab and possible scenario elements. I like to get Rodney and Jason and a few other people to come and be their patients, so they don't always recognize their facial expressions, and they're not trying to help each other. So
Is Rodney his normal self during this thing?
Rodney Sanders. So. Yeah. Every time they talk about sticking, he's like out of there. So, but they have the requirements, and this goes not only in my grading, but my checkoff sheet for my accrediting body, but I'm also grading it with the rubric. So let me show you my checkoff. And it just says updated because I had to change it so it wasn't a read only. So this is my checkoff. We're hitting 4 competencies with it. And, I'm grading it with this for the accrediting body. And then I also have the rubric that I'm putting in my grade book. All right. And I think that's everything I have to show you. So I just went a little farther. So we'll let Julie take over. Maybe she has better luck.
It's on the slides. All right. So this will be my first time using these new rubrics like everyone. And what I felt made sense for my program was our capstone class. And they have to do a big capstone project. I'm like, I can embed the program outcomes and the gen ed outcomes in their capstone project. So that's what I'm going to do. And so let's look at a possible cultural intelligence scenario. And what I will look at is the rubric that's created for the part 1 of the assignment and the part 4 of the assignment. Part 1 is the formation, the creation, the development of it. And these are some of the key instructions is they have to determine what they want to do. They have to conduct research. They have to consider who the target audience is. They need to problem solve. They have to create a timeline and due dates and project management and all those things. And then by part 4 is the delivery of such and how well did they achieve what they were trying to do. So for cultural intelligence, they do need to identify who is their audience. So if it's like for one project last year, we had like paranormal people that like to take night, what do you call it? Like haunted tours and night projects and stuff like that. So that's like young people or people that are interested in those sort of things, the paranormal and the goths and stuff like that. So they had a specific audience. And then they have to present some demographic facts and look up some, like how much does people spend on these kind of ghost tours and just look up some things like that. And then of course the look of it, the fonts, the colors, the images, the graphics, and the language has to be appropriate for that target audience, showing integrated knowledge in relation to that cultural lens. And then let's look at critical thinking, the same thing, it's the same project. And I'm going to use part 1, the development of it, and then part 4, the completion of it to look at. And they have to decide what they're going to do, and they have to create the plan, and they have to employ creative and artistic and business considerations along with the reasoning, decision making to complete the components. And then oral and written, as part of their final presentation, they have to create either a presentation deck or a handout. And so it has to be done according to good design principles, and it has to be appropriate for that audience. They have to deliver and present their project So they have to get in front of people and talk, do their oral. And so that, I feel like that is going to, incorporate the oral and written communication component of it. So they have to use proper grammar, mechanics, formatting, and give it in a professional manner. And we usually bring in a little audience to watch them. I think some of you were in that last couple of years. Numerical, as it pertains to graphic design, for us, it's related to things like the correct formatting and resolution and color modes and file types and grids and sizing, things like that. And it will be very obvious if there are problems, like images that are blurry, graphics that look stretched or distorted or don't fit properly, text that appears too large or too small, or the font is just not appropriate, elements without proper hierarchy, videos that have elements that are not in the safe zone, you can't read it. Poor timing and sequencing, compression effects, exporting web formats and print, misaligned text and images, lack of margins and columns. And for me, that's my numerical literacy. That seems like that would fit the bill, or the fact that they need to use technical aspects and make sure that their production is proper for their thing. And that's it. So any questions? Yes.
Written communication criteria, part of it is students are expected to present their capital project a professional. With the professional manner defined in a rubric, where do they define professional manner?
That's in the rubric, basically. When you look at oral communication and it talks about audience appropriate language, tone, body language. Let's see what else it says here. Organization and support, like, showing what you need. Having enough images and talking about things appropriately.
Professional manner is actually, let's look through, I didn't just see the term.
Yeah, I think on the actual exercise, I don't say professional manner per se, but I say, things such as having it ready, being ready to talk about it, being ready to answer questions, to give the whole story of your project, the beginning, the middle, and the ending, things like that. And you're right, professional might be considered vague. Yeah, it's a good point.
And you could probably do that checklist too. And that way you can say, I know that Kelly and I, when our students present, we expect them to be dressed business casual, things like that. So you can have that on the checklist.
At this point, like in Bloom, I'd be like, this is the captain, so the top up.
Any other questions?
So hopefully your wheels are turning and you're thinking of how you can use these with your courses. And I guess another question I would have is like, even a gen ed course, like in psychology or history, they would apply these as well, wouldn't they? Yeah, so even if it's not a degree program, you could apply these.
Yes, because each course is supposed to embed at least one gen ed outcome. So whatever the gen ed outcome is being embedded and it's not just been assessed, right? Then they can use the rubric for that and align it.
And this is something that when program assessments come in at the end of the spring semester, there will be a question in the report about the gen ed data specifically. We're not overhauling the entire report or anything. We're just going to add a little bit about this gen ed data, and these rubrics should make that easier.
And you don't have to do it for every assignment. I'm not going to use it for every math assignment,
Right.
But I'm going to use it for ones that, before they take the tests on it. So that way I know that they know what I'm talking about. That I know that they know what it means when they're giving someone 2 CCs or whatever. So, you don't have to do it for every assignment.
Are we at the point yet where, we scrapped the portfolio themselves. Are we at the point yet where we're gonna have a mechanism to pick? Like if Donna had done numerical literacy across 15 classes, where she can pick and be like, this is the one I want for the program assessment, and I want this for this program, pull it in for you all for a report. Because right now, they're gonna be scattered across 15 classes. How?
More cumulative. So you want to pick the class that you feel like probably in a second year that shows that they really know that critical thinking
Traditionally,
or.
I could tell my students, get an assignment from this class, and this
Mhm.
class, the old style. And if I didn't have access to that class, thank God. I'm just wondering, are we at the point yet where me as the capstone, the program director is able to somehow have an interface to pick and say, pull from this one, and this one for you all? Because there was talk of that originally, like the case when we were moving.
in the report, they would be able to select, correct?
In theory, yeah, and one of the benefits to using Blackboard as opposed to using the Microsoft Forms is that you can, or they can, like, you can upload as many files as you like. If you need to pull from multiple places, like, you can do that.
And one of the things we'll talk more about tomorrow and NC session with program faculty is that you all will develop a gen ed alignment map like you did with your for your program. Alignment map with your program outcomes and take the gen ed outcomes and align those to your courses. So, and again, ideally, if you have a course like a capstone course that can assess multiple, program outcomes and gen ed outcomes,
Right.
you can still submit data from.
I was just trying to figure out, I have adjuncts now. I don't teach all of my classes. Traditionally, I could have been the one to go into my own shell and pull this out if I had to, but I don't now. And I was thinking we were gonna have a mechanism that in the classes, there would be the assignment, the token assignment there that's for this to be submitted, that would be submitted to a clearinghouse shell to where then me as the program director could look at all the assignments that I had and go, this is the best one for this is the best one for this. I didn't know if that mechanism's there yet, because
I'm gonna say not yet, because we still need to get the rubrics into Blackboard. But the idea is that once we have those rubrics in there and people are using them, then Gordon can just run a report.
okay.
And you can just ask, what are the, based on this rubric, what do these courses show? And that way you don't need a clearinghouse, you can just run a report.
Okay.
The other thing too, Patrick, is in the course assessment report, we're probably gonna add back in the gen ed question.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
So you could get in as a secondary instructor to your adjunct. So if you wanted to pull some data from a course that you don't teach, you could.
And I'm gonna get the
Yeah.
program back.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm on all of them.
When it's there, it helps us be able to see it, right?
And you can make sure they're teaching what you want them to
Well,
teach.
yeah.
You collect data from all courses someday. But the part that we really need to show HLC is at the program level and how the gen ed outcomes so that we can give program faculty back feedback about how students in your program are doing in the gen ed area and across all programs.
I'm just trying to be able to have as much control as I had before. That sounds bad. What I mean is like when the students submitted their portfolio, they had to send me the assignments.
Yes.
I'm great. I'm looking at the assignments. I'm like, whoa,
Right.
I need to talk to them about this.
We said submit your best work and all of
So
those.
when it became decentralized, I'm like, I want to make sure I can see those whoa moments so I can make sure to adjust. For
And catch it before it's already there.
Exactly.
And one thing we want to stress is these gen ed rubrics are new. This whole system is new and it's a pilot. So we will be assessing how this is going at the end of the semester and how it's being submitted, and there will likely be tweaks and changes. And we will always be working towards improvement and like an easy use on your side of the house. We're not trying to make this difficult, but we're trying to just be the better system.
And I am relying on you guys to tell me when something's wrong.
Yeah,
I trust you to do that.
Patrick will definitely.
I'll let you know.
And Patrick, I'm always on my adjuncts classes. I always have Chris add me or, Blackboard add me, or I make the adjunct add me right there, so that way I can keep an eye on things. And
I
then,
was very surprised that we had the power to do that. We don't have that power. It's like, I'm learning to exercise that power.
yeah,
And then do you sometimes have conversations with students if they're on track?
yeah, especially like with Rebecca, where she's a first time instructor, making sure, just so I can help if she needs it. So. Any other questions?
Originally, do the students have anything to do with it? Anyone?
Mm-mm.
They just do the work.
Yeah. And some of the, where they're, I'm gonna give them a couple chances, so that way if I don't like it, I can help fix it. But I thought, given the, example this time, that way they could see what I'm looking for. But next time I'll probably make sure in my introduction, it's in my handbook, that way they know what to do.
That's one of the things I really like about this system we're trying to create, is that we don't have to ask the students to make those decisions anymore. The students don't have extra assignments or extra decisions. They just do what they're told in their general classes, and then we run some reports and put the data together from the back end. So it should be less work all around.
Any other questions? If you don't care to do the survey, I guess we're done a few minutes early.
Yay.